Okay, interviewee, so introduce yourself. Tell me your name.
My name is Elizabeth Boll, and I am a freshman undergraduate studying environmental studies at University of Colorado.
Sweet. So, this interview is for an exercise in a course that I am taking this semester. For the purposes of this exercise, do you consent to being interviewed and recorded?
I do consent.
Sweet. So, my first question for you today, Liz, is I would like to learn about your experience of gender in the workplace. Can you describe where you worked in as much detail as possible?
I have had 3 jobs throughout my life so far. First, I worked at Target as a cashier. I it was in a small town in Texas. Um, the second job was nannying. I was a nanny for a family with 2 little girls. And the third was I did canvassing for it was actually here in Colorado in Boulder. I did canvassing for Hillary Clinton's campaign.
Okay, sweet. So, can you describe your typical day? Like, what would you typically do at each job?
At Target, I would spend the day as a cashier checking people out, obviously, and then whenever downtime, I would be stocking shelves for candy and the little like $1 bins in Target, be stocking the stuff there, and even though my job was technically cashier, it was actually more red card getter, which was the main part of our job was to get 2 people a day signed up for a Target credit card or debit card. And then whenever I was a nanny, my typical day was picking the girls up from school, taking them home, giving them like a snack, letting them calm down and watch some Powder Puff Girls or some Powerpuff Girls, not Powder Puff Girls, or something like that. And then we just like hang out, play, do homework until our parents got home. And then canvassing, my typical day was I would like mid morning, early afternoon, go meet at an office where the canvassing group was based out of, and then they would shuttle us out to various towns in or various areas in Boulder and like surrounding towns, and I would spend 5 to 6 hours just with a map in my hands and knocking on people's doors and getting their political opinion, I guess. And yeah, and then I'd come home and be debriefed.
Sweet. So, who are your coworkers at each job? Like, what type of people did you work with? What was the gender ratio? That type of thing.
At Target, there was since we were in a small town in Texas, it was predominantly like middle income, lower middle class people with and kids like teenagers, primarily white, fairly evenly split gender wise, and well, they were all pretty nice. And then nannying, it was just me, unless you count like their parents or like them, but that'd be 3 girls to 1 guy. And then canvassing, I would say it was probably the most diverse group of people. It was just like a lot of people that cared about the same thing. You had people from the age of like 70 down to the age of like 17, 18. And I'd say that also had a very even split of girls to guys.
Okay, so, what different responsibilities did men and women have at each job? Did they do different tasks?
At Target, there was no like job within the store that was exclusive to men or a job that was exclusive to women. There was definitely like a tendency. So like people who worked in the back room doing stocking were like there was definitely more young guys doing that job, but there was also women doing it, and things like the cart pushers were generally guys. There was definitely more cashiers that were women, but there was quite a few guy cashiers, and then the clothing and a lot of the office jobs were held by women also, the ones who kind of ran the show behind the scenes. Nannying, it was just me. I was the only coworker. Um, and then canvassing, uh, we did the exact same job with the exception of the 3 people who ran the office location, which they all happened to be women. But yeah, that job, I would say there was almost an even 50-50 split on men to women.
Okay. So can you tell me about a time that your own gender or the gender of a coworker was an issue?
When I worked at Target, we never, at least not that I know of, I never noticed or heard of any really issues between men and women at work. Um, the first day you go to work at Target, they make you watch this like 45-minute, hour-long video about equality and diversity in the workplace and how important it is and how it makes the whole Target team run smoother. Never an issue with nannying, and I don't there was never really an issue within between coworkers whenever we were canvassing, but there was a tendency for men who worked for the canvassing group uh, to have more trouble getting people to open their doors, just because a lot of people who happened to be at home were kids, women, people who who may not necessarily be as open to opening the door and talking to a man they don't know.
Okay, sweet. So I'd just like you to tell me, what you liked most about each job.
My favorite part about working at Target was that it was like a big company with a lot of connections. Like they had a lot of like things. There's a lot. It looks good to have had at least a little retail experience at Target, and I also really liked the 10% off I got on everything there, and nannying. Probably just like the fact that it was a job, but it was also just hanging out with kids, which is like a job, obviously, but nowhere near as taxing as maybe cashiering or like walking 6 miles, knocking on doors. And my favorite part about canvassing was probably that I was like really interested in what I was talking about, and I actually really cared and wanted to help and like make a difference in the election. Didn't, dang it, but that was probably my favorite part about that one.
Sweet. So I'm just gonna ask you, which job was your favorite and why?
I'd say probably nannying because I developed like the closest personal relationship with the kids and their parents more so than I did working at Target or working at this canvassing group, and it was also just kind of fun. It was cool getting to hang out with kids all the time.
Yeah. Did you do fun activities?
Yeah, we'd go swimming. We used to go-kart riding a lot. There's a $4 track in Texas. It's fun, and we used to take their dogs to the dog park and play with it a lot. And then go swimming a lot in the summer. That was fun too.
Okay. So which job paid the most and had the most benefits?
The job that paid the most was probably nannying because it was just me working for like an individual, not a company, and I would get extra money for things like whenever I took them to get food, they would always throw in like an extra few dollars, or like they always give me extra gas money, and things that a normal job like didn't give me. Plus, I made quite a bit more per hour and worked for a lot longer than I did at Target or for canvassing. And then the job with the most benefits. I guess I'd probably say nannying too. There was a lot of benefits. The parents were neuroscientists, so that was kind of cool.
Sweet.
Nice connections.
So what did you learn from each job? What did you take away from each one?
From the first job from Target, I took away that dealing with the general public is not an easy task, and that there's gonna be a lot of very rude people, but also a lot of really really cool people that you'll meet. And then nannying, learning that taking care of kids is not easy. They're very frustrating, but they're also kind of adorable, and they're like way smarter and funnier than the rest of us. And then canvassing, I learned that there's like a lot of different people, a lot of different kinds of people that have a lot in common. They all want to do the same thing, and like I had never met all these people in my life, and I was like top meeting people that were like 45, 20, and like 70, and they were all wanting to go knock on doors because they believed in something, at least a little bit. So that was kind of cool learning experience there.
Cool. So, my last question for you is, what is your next job going to be?
Over the summer, I'm looking to try and get a like 9 to 5 job since that's something I've never had to have like a steady schedule and like not have to work on the weekends. So I'm gonna be trying to get like a job as like a receptionist or maybe doing some like clerical work at an office or insurance company somewhere in my hometown or not too far away.